Yeah, so I got home last week, and I don't know. I just think last week's episode just wasn't great. Not that every single episode has to be incredible.
I wish I could have found the Smitty Barstool Game Time video quicker.
Yeah, it wasn't either of our faults. It was just not great. It was just. I mean, I'll put it up on YouTube eventually. Maybe I'll put it up like next week as a quote unquote bonus episode. But I was also busy as fuck last week too, so I decided to take a week off from the Justin Show. I mean, the Justin Show, it's people don't realize it's 9 to 5. It's 24/7. I know that goes against the 9 to 5 thing, but it's 24/7. It never stops, and it takes a toll on you. So last week I was just like, fuck it.
Yeah.
I have to take some time off. But I'm still always thinking of the Justin Show and things like that. I don't know if you saw on Twitter, but I'm trying to grow the show a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
You see that?
No. What was it?
Well, I hope you don't mind. I did offer your services. I guess for free. I offered a deal to Joe Rogan where if he wants to leave Spotify, the Justin Show was willing to offer him $101 million
right
to come on over to us and record here at the Beautiful Vaulted Podcasts.
I'm sure he would love that.
So I if you want me to like rescind the offer, I
you know what? No, keep it out there. Let's
okay.
keep it out there.
So Joe, yeah, you're not going to be getting censored over here at the Justin Show.
No, you can say whatever you want.
Nope. You will be. You can say mostly everything you want. I mean, if he goes on like a Barbara Bush rant or something like that,
game over.
Oof.
This whole thing, I'm sure everybody knows what, because it's been like
talked
about ad
what's
nauseum,
happening?
the Joe Rogan shit.
Yeah.
Well,
What's happening?
Him saying the N-word about 72 times in a clip. Here's the thing. I talking about this with my wife,
Mm-hmm.
I felt like this is just, it's a cyclical pattern.
Yep.
People have said that. It's a cyclical pattern that happens over and over again to the same type of people,
Yep.
the same reasons. It's
Mhm.
all political driven, and you can't tell me it's not. And it's uneven because some people can progress in their lives
Yep.
and change. Other people, it doesn't matter. Same thing with Rogan in that video. He said he hadn't used the word in years, which I do recognize because I have a pretty, I listen to the Joe Rogan podcast pretty often.
I don't think he's used it since he joined Spotify.
That would be jarring to me. Like,
Yeah.
I don't listen to a lot of podcasts that use that word,
Mm-hmm.
but especially with Joe Rogan, that would be jarring because people would be picking up on that like crazy. And he hasn't used it in years, at least since I've been listening, like 4 or 5 years.
Yeah. It's
Yeah.
the biggest like oof I got from that wasn't actually him saying the N-word. It was the Planet of the Apes thing.
Yeah, that was just,
Just a bad joke.
Yeah, and it sucks too because like it sounds like we're defending him. I don't feel the need to defend a man who has $100 million.
No.
Like I don't. But like it's a joke that didn't land. Like how many like in comedy clubs across America, on podcasts across the internet, how many times has a joke gone said that came out unfunny and hurt people's feelings?
I know.
A million.
Look at Michael Richards. It almost destroyed his career.
Right.
No, like
Michael Richards
things,
is
things like that when it's not jokes, when it's just you blatantly going up there screaming the N-word at a
Right.
black member of the audience is one thing.
a little different.
But yeah, no, I think the whole thing is kind of blown out of proportion. I do agree with Blind Mike a lot on this, where I think that Joe probably said, fuck it, take it down. I do think him and Spotify are kind of in cahoots now, where...
They're in lockstep. People think that there's like this huge disconnect. It's not. Joe doesn't give a fuck about take down those shows. He doesn't care.
It all comes down to money.
Yeah.
And Spotify made Joe Rogan very, very rich, and Joe Rogan is making Spotify a shit ton of money.
Yeah.
Because I guarantee you, like, his downloads, people saying they're going to boycott Spotify, blah, blah, blah. They're going to either boycott Spotify because he's on there or because they're censoring him. I guarantee you his downloads have gone up in the past week.
Oh, for sure. Yeah. I mean, definitely. Even if it's just people searching his podcast for examples to support their like takedown of him.
Yeah.
Numbers are going up.
Yeah. And I think it's... the one thing I didn't like, though, is did you see the video of, I think her name is India. It was this black singer, and she was talking about, she was kind of the one that brought up the whole N-word controversy. And in it, she's like, now, I'm not a fan for taking things out of context. Now, here's a 2-minute video of the N-word out of context.
Yeah.
Where it's like, okay, I mean, just say it. You don't like him because he's not 100% on board with the vaccine, which, say what you want, say, like yay or nay. I mean, some people love that, some people hate that.
Yeah.
Just say that's why you want him off. It's not because because when it comes down to it, he's just a fucking like he's a gym bro who loves UFC and like DMT.
The dude has made a living out of doing purely shit that he likes to do.
He used to be like, now eat those rat testicles, like faster, faster, faster. Like that was how he got his start. He's not like people make him out to be like this genius or like this complete dumbass. No, he's just a funny guy.
People that haven't listened to his podcast, and that's a majority of the people that are commenting about him negatively, think that he's like every episode starts him in like a laboratory in a white coat, and he has a chalkboard and is explaining why the vaccine is no good for you. Like that's so like watch an episode with Brian Redband or Ari or any of the other comedian friends. They don't even that like barely shit doesn't even come up. And 90% of the people that come on his show are vaccinated. They're not like it's all his comedian friends. Like they come and get high, they fucking drink their faces off, and they have a good time before they go out and do a show in Austin. Like, it's so insane. People think that he's there like every. People think what people think, and because they put the association together because Alex Jones has been on a show before. People think that he's Alex Jones just every week.
Yes,
like
exactly.
Spreading like crazy theories. Like that's not what the show is. It's so not what that is.
I mean, he does have sometimes like stupid theories, but his stupid theories are like, I got so high once I spoke to God. you know, like it's like things like no one would take seriously if it was anyone else saying this stuff. But yeah, even like his non-comedic episodes where he has like, I love his episode with Travis Barker. That's one of my favorite like podcasts to re-listen to because it's, you know, he gets Travis to open up about like almost dying in the plane crash and things like that. They don't go off on any crazy rants. And Travis Barker, I love him. He is like a very liberal person, but not all. Like I would say 90% of his episodes probably don't even touch politics.
Yeah. I would
or like or like he makes fun of it, and I don't know.
Like I don't think it's someone, and I don't know the person's name. It's been going around on Twitter. Someone made a list of his guests.
I saw that, and it was like oh, stop saying that because he supported Bernie Sanders, and it's like
it's right-leaning guests and left-leaning guests, and it's crazy to me that this person definitely just looked at his episode list.
Yep.
And placed these people on one side of the line or the other side of the line, depending on how that person felt about them, and had nothing to do with politics. It's very clear. Tim Dillon, who's been on the show 10 times, isn't like he will say himself, like he does not consider himself a Republican. Like he makes a lot of jokes and has like a shtick that makes it seem like he is, but I don't think he is, and I don't think that a lot of those other people, and I don't sure, are. Like, what did you do? Did you check their voter registration status?
Exactly.
Did you ask them? Did you? No, you just made a fucking list about people you like and people you dislike.
No, and I was looking through that list too, and like on like do you know the show Adam Ruins Everything? It was on True TV for a little bit.
Yes,
Adam Conover. He's a funny guy. He is left leaning, and I checked to see if on the left side like Adam Conover was listed. Nope,
he was on the right.
No, he wasn't on any side.
Oh, he wasn't on any.
So it was just like okay, so you're picking and choosing like
definitely.
I know this name, I know this name, I know this name, I know this name, I know this name.
Yeah,
but it's like you're not going through of actually like going through. I don't know. The whole thing is just I'm so fucking Joe Rogan'd out.
Yeah, me too.
He's so rich and he makes so much money not only from Spotify, but I'm sure he gets paid a shit ton from UFC. And I don't know if his advertising that he doesn't. Does he still do advertising?
Joe?
Yeah,
I doubt. Oh,
well, he has like companies and stuff, right?
Well, he has On It. He's a part owner in that company On It, and I think Alpha Brain as well.
Yeah,
it's like health supplement shit. And I think he does some like some workout equipment with On It, and they have like gyms and things like that. It's kind of like a TB12 type situation. But
yeah, I mean, he probably makes so much money. Like he doesn't need like the people who are trying to cancel him are just as pathetic as people who are like, I will die for Joe Rogan. It's
I was listening to I forget what pod. I was Sacred Symbols. It's a PlayStation podcast, biggest PlayStation podcast in the world. Colin Moriarty, who's been on his show twice, been on Joe Rogan's show twice. He was talking about how, like, you know, how musicians are backing out. Mm-hmm. And he brought up this stat, and I don't have it offhand, but essentially he was saying, like, in order for, even if, like, Taylor Swift were to remove her music from Spotify, with Rogan's downloads, it would have to be, like, that Taylor Swift releases a new album every week.
Yeah.
For it to make sense for Spotify.
Yeah.
Like
it's just,
you have to remember, he gets, like, 11 million downloads per episode. He puts out like 4 or 5 episodes
minimum.
a week.
At the minimum.
Right.
Yeah.
Sometimes more.
And so, like, I saw a couple. I think that one doctor he had on got like 33 or something like that.
Yeah. It's just crazy to me. It's also not like he's having these like lunatics on. They're all just like.
It'd be great. I would love it if he just left Spotify and he started having lunatics on.
Like if he had actual people that were just like
legitimate
like
bad shit. Like first of all, he needs to get Kid Rock on. Like the first thing, like that should be like his next guest.
I honestly would love that. I think he wouldn't care. I think he would have anybody on. But I truly think that when Joe, because Joe does the booking himself, for all of them, I truly think that he only has people on that he wants to have conversations with, which makes total sense and is perfectly fine. Like he shouldn't be held to a standard to have a certain amount of left or right people on. That's the one thing I disagreed with him. If he wants to have those people on, sure, it's his show. But why do you need to make it down the middle? No one else does that.
No.
Does Fox News do that? No. Does CNN do that? No.
It's called the Joe Rogan experience, and not called the non-political bias experience.
It's so fucking crazy to me, man.
It's just
it's you talk about it ad nauseum, and we're gonna talk about this with somebody else next month. It's gonna be the same story.
It might be Joe Rogan again.
Yeah, I know. I was telling you, Tim Dillon's most recent podcast episode was one of the funniest he's ever put out.
I gotta check it out.
And in it, he was talking about, he's like, the first thing when he starts talking about Joe Rogan, he's like, I want to know what I need to do to stay in the news like Joe Rogan. He goes, I'll say that cancer is fake. What do you want me to say? I am jealous. I am green with jealous rage that he's able to stay in the news cycle this much.
Yeah, it's very funny. I like Tim Dillon. I haven't really listened to a lot of his show. I pick here and there, but he's very funny. He's a homosexual, correct?
Yeah, he's gay. He was also on the new episode of Are You Garbage?
Okay,
with those guys.
Yeah,
very funny episode as well.
So anyway, I feel like every single podcast ever has to touch on the Joe Rogan situation.
That's what I have to say.
I was thinking about trying to pull the Justin Show off of Spotify if they for something. Like I was like I don't know, but then I was like, no. Then I look at like the download percentage, and I think like 5% of this show's downloads are from Spotify. Which once again, like I've said this before, I think our downloads are fucked because like the past like 5 episodes have hit like 2,000 downloads each.
Sweet.
I don't know if that. I think it's fake.
You're the Justin Show.
You're the Justin Show. I think it's fake, but whatever. I think someone out there was trying to like fuck with me by like buying downloads because I don't know if you remember that whole thing that happened on KMS a couple years ago with the Mincel boys buying YouTube views or something like that.
Yeah.
So I think someone was just trying to like fuck with me, so like get me like excited. But I don't know. It's staying, so I don't fucking know. Maybe 2,000 downloads is true. But yeah, it's just something where it's never gonna go away.
I wish we didn't have to touch on it, but it's such a huge story, and I have opinions, and you have opinions. So I'm glad we did, and you can hear it on a million other shows right now too. So
yeah. So, and it's never gonna go away.
I don't know if you knew this or not, but you saw the #1 movie in the box office this weekend.
Was it Jackass?
#1.
Yeah, I did see it.
$23 million.
Really? I just saw it today. Actually, I went with my dad to go see it. It was funny. It was funny. It's the worst of the 4.
Yeah,
I would say it's not as good as like I think Jackass 3D was like the funniest thing.
Jackass 3D mixed the like the dumb random skits and kind of gave it some narrative. Like they themed the pranks well in 3. I thought. Yeah,
this was just a lot of people getting hit in the nuts or like just getting ran over, which is funny. It was funny. But it wasn't like piss your pants laughing.
Sure.
It was good though. I like they introduced some new characters, and I hope that it kind of goes. I mean, Jesus Christ, how old is Johnny Knoxville? He's got to be in his 50s.
He's close to 50, if not 50.
Oh, he's got to be. I mean, I'm guessing 54.
He is 50 on the money.
Okay, yeah. I mean, he's getting old. I mean, like at the end of the movie, there's a stunt that literally just knocks him out cold. And it's like, Jesus Christ.
He's going to be so fucked up from doing this shit for so long.
Like, him and, like, Steve-O are, like, fucking crazy.
It's amazing. Steve-O's podcast, this is going to sound crazy, he's actually really good on his podcast.
Really? Because I saw he hosted a game show a couple years ago that was not great.
He's good on his podcast. He's kind of like a podcast where you have to pick and choose the episode.
Okay.
Go with someone you think he would be cool, like good with.
Yep.
Because otherwise he tries to get like big names that he might not mesh with. But he does one with Jeff Tremaine recently, who is the director and creator of Jackass.
Yep.
And it's great. he's good with him.
Oh, I'm sure. I'm sure that's fantastic. And I've always liked Jackass. I've liked the Jackass movies, like the TV show. But yeah, this one was funny. Don't get me wrong. But it just didn't feel. It felt like they were like, okay, 20 years later they get together and like let's make one final Jackass movie.
Has it been 20 years since 3?
Since the first one.
Oh, since the first one. Okay.
Since the first one. So it was like, it was tough. But the new guys were funny. They brought kind of in like they brought in a female. I forget all these people's names. They brought in someone named Poopy, Poopsie or.
He's the big guy.
No, then there's a fat guy. I forget the fat guy's name.
I just followed him last night on Twitter because I saw that he was like. So what's the deal with all these new people? Are they like people that like they're basically unknowns that they're just getting into like?
I think so. I haven't heard of any of them before. Like Eric Andre was like in some skits and stuff like that.
Yeah,
but you know how they'll have like just random celebrities just kind of like hanging out on set and things like that, and that's kind of what it was. But the fat guy looks. Are you familiar with you know of Come Town, correct?
Yes. Yeah.
Okay, he looks like a fatter Stavros.
Okay.
Stavros Halkias.
Okay.
He's missing a tooth.
Is he as big as Preston? Is Preston in it?
Yes, Preston is in it.
Yeah.
I think Preston lost a little bit of weight.
Oh, okay.
He's still like ginormous, but yeah, the new fat guy. He's funny. I'd say he was kind of like the star of the new people. He was very good. There were a couple good skits, but a lot of it was just kind of like, okay, like I know like we've seen all this before, but it wasn't like the opening skit was it was like a reenactment of Godzilla, except it was what the fuck's one of the guy who always does shit with his dick. It was his
one
dick.
of the Wild Boys, that guy?
Yes.
Chris.
Yes, Chris
Pontius.
Yes. It was his penis, and it was just like going around, and it was very funny. And
I love the openings and the closes on Jackass.
Yeah,
movies.
the closing was very like so they had a closing, and then they had like credits go by where they were showing like the old stuff compared to the new stuff.
Okay.
And it was good. I'd probably give it like a 6 out of 10.
Okay.
It was funny. I mean, it was probably the funniest movie I've seen in theaters since like The Other Guys, you know?
Yeah, like as far as like laugh out loud funny goes.
Yeah, because I mean, there's not really too many comedies nowadays.
Yeah, or you know what it is too. A lot of people overlook comedies now and just wait for them to come out on streaming.
So
I know that there's very few comedies that can move the needle for me to get to the theater and watch them.
Yeah, especially because like all these like the big name people like kind of go to. I guess
it's always been like that for me too, though.
Like, do you consider like Deadpool a comedy?
I would consider that more a comic book movie.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, it is a comedy, and I think it is funny, but I think that I go to see that in the theater because of all, like, the big, like, action scenes.
Correct.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, I don't know. It's strange.
Did you feel like they wrapped this up, or do you feel like that there's going to be more with these new characters?
So I think there's going to be more with these new characters and Johnny Knoxville and the guys are going to be in it to a lesser amount.
Yeah.
Like they're going to slowly fade themselves out. Like whenever they do like, getting, throwing things at each other's heads or something where it's like physical like I think they're all going to continue doing stuff to their dicks because like that doesn't like your dick can take it. Like whether you're 60, 55, 50, you can take it. But like you cannot get like ran over by a bull like when you're approaching your like mid 50s.
One of the like teasers I saw on TikTok was Francis Ngannou like gave a hook shot to Aaron's balls.
Yes, so it was a cup check. So they were wearing cups. So there was a sequence where it's him doing that. Some like the world's fastest softball pitcher hits a softball at his dick, and he kept moving, and so it kept like hitting his thigh, and then like for a couple different like scenes after that, you could just see the bruises on his thighs. PK Subban did a slap shot to his nuts.
Oh, Jesus.
Which, like,
what did they put around him? Nothing?
It was just a jock strap. It was just like a
No,
cup.
but like his legs and everything were exposed?
Oh, yeah. And then
God.
and then some guy was on a pogo stick and then pogoed his nuts.
Fuck. That's brutal.
So it was pretty funny, though. It was pretty funny. Like I said, 6 out of 10 if you really like that stuff, or if you're like new. If you haven't seen Jackass 1, 2, or 3, go see it because it will be like the funniest shit you've ever seen. It really just made me want to like go back and watch the old Jackass movies. And like I'm a huge Bam guy. I know he has his demons and things like that.
He was in one, wasn't he?
No, I didn't see him.
He wasn't in any of it?
No, I didn't. Maybe look up maybe I missed him.
Well, I read that.
I read somewhere that he was in one too, but but they didn't acknowledge him at all. They acknowledged Ryan Dunn at the end there.
Yeah.
They had a little Ryan Dunn forever thing.
Did he die in between the two movies? Or
He
no?
died.
Like while shooting 3?
I think it was like right before they were about to start shooting 3.
Ugh, that's rough.
And so he died because I remember them all saying like, "How do we shoot 3 with all this, without Dunn?"
He says, despite this, Margera still does appear in Jackass Forever in one single scene.
Oh, I didn't see him. So he's definitely not like prevalent in it.
Yeah, maybe he's not even in the gag. Maybe he's just like there
In the background,
Yeah.
just like laughing or something.
I feel bad for Bam. I think that him taking. I think we talked about this before, but I think him taking to social media and kind of trashing these guys is not what is.
No, it's so weird. If you remember
Yeah.
him doing it, he literally like put out his Venmo and was like, "Venmo me $5 and I'll make the best Jackass movie you've ever seen." It's
like these guys are just trying to help, like truly just trying.
Oh
to help
yeah,
him.
I mean, I think they all kind of like grew up a little bit. Like I think 20 years ago, like Bam shows up on set and everyone's like, "Oh, like everyone's fucked up." Like Steve-O's on fucking heroin or whatever the fuck
Well,
he's
yeah,
on.
Steve-O was fucked up during I think it was the second one, right? And then the third one, he got clean.
Yes, he was clean by
Yeah.
the third one, and then I think they're kind of like, "Okay, Bam, like we can't be doing this forever." So they
Well,
kind of,
I mean, Bam's best friend also, we're just talking about Dunn. Like, Ryan Dunn dying fucked him up.
yeah.
And along with whatever they were already doing, is like, it didn't affect the rest of them as much because it was his buddy. He was on Viva La Bam. He was,
Viva La Bam is such a funny show.
great show.
Oh,
Yeah,
such a
I
funny
love that
show. But yeah, I think the whole Bam Margera stuff, it was weird not seeing him. Like there were a couple Snake like skits that I think were made for him, because how
Wow,
he's
he
like
hates snakes.
fucking he's
Yeah,
super
yeah.
fierce. Yeah, but I became a Bam fan, before I even saw any of the Jackass movies, because I used to play as him in Tony Hawk Pro Skater 4,
Yeah.
which is like one of my favorite games of all time.
Was skateboarding really big when you were young? Like, I'm going to say, like, for me, it was like 6th to 8th grade.
Yeah, I'd probably say in like elementary school, people like pretended to do it because we were in elementary school. No one.
Yeah,
Fucking
so that's one of those weird things where I guess like if with our age difference, it kind of happened at the same time. So
Yes.
it was probably like the early 2000s.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But it wasn't like a general, it wasn't like when you get older, like everybody gets involved with skateboarding. I think there was this really hot moment with skateboarding.
Yes.
And it just like was a perfect storm of, the Jackass guys, Bam being a professional skateboarder, and all these people like.
Yep. Tony Hawk was huge.
Yeah,
Like,
right.
I do think the
Right.
video games also like had a huge impact.
Yeah, oh yeah,
on that.
for sure.
But like I like a lot of skateboard like brands people would wear, and like skateboarding shoes and things like that. And
Yep.
I was like,
Yep.
I think I pretended to skateboard probably in like 2nd grade, but I had no fucking idea what I was doing.
I used to skateboard with a bunch of kids when I was in 6th, 7th grade, and I didn't do any tricks. I was fucking terrible. I was overweight when I was a kid.
Yep.
I'm overweight now, but I was overweight when I was a kid. It was hard for me to do anything. But I used to ride the skateboard around with my friends. We used to go to the bank and ride over the curbs and stuff.
Yeah. I feel like
And
yeah.
everybody wanted a Bam board or
Yep.
a Tony Hawk board.
Yep.
Birdhouse board.
Yep. Yeah. So that kind of segues into the video game segment of this week. I've been playing my GameCube a lot lately.
Really? What are you playing? GameCube is such an underrated
An underrated console.
It
I mean,
really
it really
is.
got shit on
Nintendo.
because it wasn't like the PS2 came, like PlayStation came, took the world by storm. PS2 was I think it's the best selling game system of all time.
Yeah, and then Switch is creeping.
Yes.
Creeping up on that number. It just passed 100 million.
So I believe, so I got a GameCube in 2001 for Christmas, and that day it broke.
I remember you were telling.
Yes, so it broke. I was like crying. I was like, "Fuck, this is so fucked up." Like Santa has to return it next year, and then but it's gonna take 2 years for me to get fucking a brand new GameCube, because I still believed in Santa when I was in kindergarten and shit like that. And I wasn't a PlayStation guy. Never had a PlayStation. The only game system I had throughout my childhood was either a GameCube or a Wii, and it's kind of like my go-to nostalgic. Well, where is it at in sales?
Looking it up right now. It is, let's see. GameCube is down 21 million for its lifetime. Puts it at it doesn't have numbers on
Compared
Wikipedia
to
for whatever.
PlayStation 2, which was
PlayStation 2 was 155 million.
okay, yeah, exactly. So there were for every GameCube that was sold, there were 7 sold. 7 fucking PlayStation shoes that were sold. But I don't know. I guess I'm just chasing that nostalgic high recently. But yeah, so what I've been playing is one of the most relaxing games. It might be the most underrated Nintendo series of all time, and it's Pikmin. You ever play Pikmin before?
No, never.
Such a great game.
I only know Pikmin from
Super
Smash Brothers.
Okay,
Yeah.
so it's a real-time strategy game where you control like these little like colorful like creatures, and you go around and fight things. It's just you can just throw it on and just fucking play it.
And that's the first one?
It's great. Yeah, I've been playing the first. So the first 2 are on GameCube. They also came to the Wii with like new motion controls or whatever. But then they took the Wii off. Pikmin 3 came out on Wii U, and then Pikmin 3 Deluxe just recently came out on Switch, and that kind of like revitalized the whole thing. Now they also have like some sort of like Pokemon Go sort of thing. I think it's called like
on the phone.
Yeah, it's called like Pikmin.
I think you're right.
Yeah, I don't know, but anyway, I've been playing that. I've been playing what I believe to be one of the greatest shooters of all time in 007 Everything or Nothing.
Okay.
Is fantastic. I think it's the best 007 game. I'll say it. I think it's better than GoldenEye. It holds up well.
We talked about this before.
I was going to say
GoldenEye is not. It's a nostalgic game. It's not a great game.
Correct. It doesn't hold up well. If you had, the thing is like if you had someone brand new play Ocarina of Time today, they are having a blast. They're like, this is a great game.
Right.
If you have someone play Mario Kart 64 or even Super Mario 64, they're still having a good time. If you had someone who had never played GoldenEye before, if they started playing it today, they would be like,
Or if you
it's
had
hard.
You're right. If you had someone play Breath of the Wild,
correct,
and had them play Ocarina of Time, they would have a good time. If you had someone play Apex Legends right now and have them go back and play GoldenEye,
it's almost impossible.
What the fuck?
It's almost impossible with the controls, and I mean, the N64 did a lot of great things. The controller was not one of them. The controller was tough.
No, I actually just Retro. I forget the name of the company. Something you can look it up online. They make an alternate version of the N64 controller.
Okay,
it plugs into the original thing and everything, but it's just a normal.
Okay.
It's a normal gamepad.
I kind of like that.
That's awesome.
So I've been dicking around. I've been looking for. I actually went to the mall before this, trying to find some GameCube games at the Toy Vault, and they had 2 that were like, they only had 2.
So I wonder what 2 did they have and what were the prices on them?
They were like, it was like a Madden game. It was like Madden.
Yeah, so
06.
none of the Nintendo ones, right?
No,
yeah.
no. But fucking GameCube games are getting up there in price because like they are. It's kind of like in that, I don't want to call it sweet spot right now, but like you can play like most of the major N64 games like on the Switch, even though Nintendo Switch Online fucking sucks and everything like that. But you could play them on like the Wii Virtual Console. You couldn't play any of the games. Like you need to own a physical copy if you're not using an emulator to play a GameCube game.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I'm thinking about I'm going to be buying the old Mario parties for the GameCube and a couple other things, but there are some fantastic gems. Were you a GameCube guy? You ever play that?
Yeah, so I kind of GameCube at the time when I had my GameCube, when my brother and I had our GameCubes, we were also playing Xbox.
Okay.
And that was kind of like our go-to, but we always, throughout our history of gaming, we always came back to Nintendo for like the staples. Like we played
of course,
Sunshine. We played, what was the Zelda game on?
Oh, Wind Waker.
Wind Waker was great. I loved Wind Waker. We
got shit on at the time it came out, but I think it aged beautifully. It still holds up. Like I know there's an HD version for the Wii U that looks fantastic, but even the GameCube version itself looks like very pretty today.
Yeah, Smash Brothers Melee was a go-to. Probably the Smash Brothers that I logged the most amount of time on, and that's saying something for the amount I played the N64 one.
Yeah.
So I did like GameCube. I was a GameCube kid, I would say.
Yeah, it's there's a whole bunch of just fucking. I feel like it's the perfect couch co-op system.
Yeah,
it was kind of like it was and like the, because I feel like things kind of like the Wii was great with that too, but I feel like GameCube really also like the controller. It's the best.
Great.
It's the best controller.
I literally today was playing Smash Brothers on my Switch
with the GameCube controller because it's the best. Yeah, I mean it's the best controller.
Yeah.
And it was fantastic how they, a couple of years back when they did that, how they re-released like actual Nintendo GameCube controllers. Because now, like when I'm playing
with the Smash logo on.
Yes, when I'm playing my GameCube, I use I have 3 of those controllers.
That's crazy, and you can use those
Yes.
backwards. That's
It's perfect. It's
fucking
perfect
great.
because before you would have to get like third-party ones.
Yeah,
that,
right.
Kind of suck.
Yeah.
So I've been playing a lot of that. If anyone has any GameCube shit they're trying to get rid of, please hit me up.
I wish I still did. I have I don't know. Actually, we might have, my brother and I might still have a working GameCube, but what we've been doing is we both keep a first generation Wii at our houses.
Yep.
And then that way,
Yeah,
if we need to play GameCube, we can
that's the same
play
thing.
that way.
Because they pretty much were the same hardware, the Wii and the GameCube, like graphics wise, power wise, but the Wii just had, obviously motion controls.
Who does that? They made Nintendo is crazy. They made a new system with all this like next generation groundbreaking motion controls.
Yep.
Which sprungboard so many things from that. That's the story for another time.
Yep.
But inside of that console, they also put an entire GameCube.
Which
they
is
had
wild.
Two slots for the memory cards,
the
4 slots for the controllers, and you could put the mini discs in it.
Yeah, it was wild.
What the fuck?
It was
Who
like
does that?
it was like I remember when I got my Wii, I was like, oh yeah, well I don't know if I'll still play the GameCube. Then I was like, wait a second, no I won't, because it is the old console. Especially like nowadays, well especially back then when like there was a big difference between the consoles, especially like Nintendo wise. Like nowadays, like the new Xbox and the old Xbox, for the most part, are pretty much the same thing, besides like just upgraded, GPUs and things of that nature. And like you can play Xbox One games on an Xbox Series X and shit like that. But yeah, I've just been really getting into like that nostalgic kick. It just triggers something in my brain where it's like, these were the good old days. I'm just gonna ride around like there's a mission in 007 Everything or Nothing. We're just driving around. I think it's San Diego. It's fucking gorgeous. But yeah, so that's pretty much what I've been up to. I did go to Monster Jam this past weekend. That was fun. Sold a shit ton of snow cones and cotton candy. And it's funny, someone. So I was selling shit like fucking crazy, and then someone comes up to me. He's like, Justin, and I was like, yeah. I thought someone told me like, can I get a picture? And I was like, okay. I started laughing. I was like, sure. And he was like, big fan, man. And I was like, okay. And I was just laughing. I was like, here I am. And he asked the woman behind him to take a picture, and she must have been like, what the fuck?
Yeah, why is he taking a picture with the cotton candy guy?
With the cotton candy guy who's just standing at his stand, who's selling $20 fucking cotton candy and $20 snow cones.
Jesus, is that how much cotton candy is?
Yeah, so it's a trip. It's so anyway, so I'll get to that in a second. But so she takes the picture, and he's like holding his kid. I can just imagine like him like being his wife. Like he's like, I think Justin, who used to work for the Kirk Minahan show, is here. And then he's walking around the arena, which is huge, and it was gorgeous. It was
looking for you.
The Islanders' new arena.
Yeah.
UBS Arena. It's beautiful. I'd love to go see a concert there. And he just sees me, and he's like, Justin, big fan. Can I get a picture? And I was like, sure. I'm wearing my fucking Monster Jam shirt.
That's funny.
And he posted it online and shit like that. So that was very, very, very funny. But I'm sure, if you really want to come see me, I'll be in Worcester in a couple weeks, selling that. So I'm sure there's going to be more people there that recognize me. Here I am. I'm just trying to, sling cherry flavored ice for, $20. And so the things that we sell are, snow cones, cotton candy, popcorn, and then lemonade. So snow cones, there's 2 different cups. There's like this light up Gravedigger cup. Gravedigger's like the...
Oh, I'm familiar.
Yeah. He's like, he's like, for those who aren't familiar, he's kind of like the...
it's like the John Cena of monster trucks. Undertaker, well, I guess.
Well, kind of like, but like without Gravedigger, like Gravedigger was before Monster Jam. Like he was like a guy who would just like go around and he would like have his own private like events where he would like crush trucks, and then it turned into Monster Jam, and he has like this whole brand thing. So he's kind of like
he's like the most popular one.
Yeah, by far. We have a cup like that. Then we have another cup that just has trucks on it, and we crush the ice, and we sell it. It's all cherry flavored. It's just different colors and shit like that. We sell that for $20. And then we have
crazy
cotton candy that comes with like a mask, and it's either like it's a mask of like one of the drivers like mascots. Like either it's a Gravedigger like skull, or it's an El Toro Loco like bull.
The horns.
Or what else do we got? We got like a dragon one. We got a dog one.
Is Maximum Destruction still a?
Oh yeah,
Max
Max D still around. So there's multiple tours.
Yeah.
So there's not. So like you can, and there's also like multiple like Gravediggers and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Because like, the guys, the OG's like son and his daughter, and then a couple other people like will just drive around on the different tours. Like last weekend there was one in Providence as well. I was in the one on Long Island, but there was another one going on in Providence, and so like you could see like Gravedigger in Providence that's different than the Gravedigger in Long Island. But yeah, it's a wild time. It's a lot of fun. Me and my friends have a great time selling, selling snow cones and cotton candy to the children and all that stuff. I did have this one woman come up to me on because there's 4 shows. There's one Friday night, Saturday morning, or Saturday afternoon, Saturday night, and then Sunday afternoon. Saturday night show, this woman came up to me like shit-faced, absolutely drunk off her ass, and she comes up to me, she's like, "Can I go to the bathroom?" And I was like, "Yeah," and I'm fucking busy as shit. She's like, wait, like, "Can I go to the bathroom?" And I was like, "Are you?" I wanted to be like, "Are you trying to fuck? Like, get the fuck out of here! Like, what the fuck is this bullshit?"
She was asking you if
yeah, and then I was like, "Yeah, go to the bathroom." And she's like, "Well, where is it? Can you show me?" And I was like, "It's there. Go fucking."
She was just hammered, man.
Yeah, she was fucking shit faced
at the fucking monster rally, monster truck rally.
But it was it's a blast. It's a blast. We there's I probably do it like 10 weekends out of the year. We travel around like the Northeast, and we go to the one that's at like Gillette and MetLife, and we also do the motocross event at Gillette and MetLife. They switch off every year, so we'll see what comes of it in a couple weeks in Worcester. But yeah, that was a grand old time.
Did you see? Did you watch the Dave Portnoy video? Him
I did.
debating the Midas Touch people.
I did.
Yeah.
It was just like, I don't know.
It's so funny to me so the lead up to it. These guys are a left
Super PAC.
Democratic super PAC. So they're just essentially
they're like my boy.
They're
like my boy Brooklyn Dad Defiant.
Right. Exactly.
Yeah, where they just pretty much say whatever the Democrats want, try to get them to like raise money.
Yeah. He essentially Portnoy had an issue with like they definitely are in cahoots. They're partnered with this account called Patriot
Takes.
Patriot
kept
Takes.
saying Patriot Takes.
And they put out some videos or resurfaced videos of the Joe Rogan stuff, and so he basically El Prez was on Twitter basically like calling out like, "Oh, this is interesting."
Because it was very similar to Resist Programming, which did similar things to Portnoy and Barstool a couple of years ago.
The whole thing was largely the whole video. The debate was largely kind of like boring. It wasn't like they were saying their fucking usual shit. But the one thing that really stood out, and I think you know where I'm going with this, was the text that Portnoy supposedly had.
Lexi?
Yeah.
Yeah, Lexi.
In the and also it's funny too, like Prez puts this out and 20,000 people are waiting for the video to start. He had more after it started. There was, I think it was 6,000 people waiting in the other one, or less than that.
Yep.
Something like that. Anyway. So he says that he has definitive proof after these two people were like basically like they're trashing Joe Rogan for saying the word.
Yep.
He has definitive proof that one of them on there said it like coming from one of their fiancés or whatever, and I thought that was fucking hilarious.
Yeah, I mean it's just like you can throw stones all you want, but just make sure your house is not made of glass.
That motherfucker's guilty as charged. You saw his face in there?
I mean, it's just like it's one of those things where it's like I personally have never said it, but I'm sure every other single white person has said it at one point in their life.
Especially Dave, someone who has said that word in the past publicly multiple times, and who is sorry about it, would never come up and start tossing stones if he didn't have the paper to back it up.
I thought it was wild during that interview. If you haven't seen it, it's on the Dave Portnoy Show YouTube channel. Go check that out. At one point, they were like, "Oh, do you realize that like because Portnoy was like, yeah, we had like our black employees were upset and everything like that, and they had a podcast." And he was like, "Do you know what you named that podcast?"
Yeah.
And I wanted to be like, "You think Dave Portnoy was like, check out these black employees of mine? Here's what I'm going to name it."
Yeah.
Are you fucking insane?
So for those of you who don't know, during 2020 when a lot of the civil unrest was going on,
and a lot of the Portnoy hate was going on, and stuff was being resurfaced.
Some of the black employees at Barstool started a podcast called The N-Word. It wasn't the N-word; it was the
called
word.
Now It's Going to Get Extremely Real.
There you go.
Yes, and
what's the acronym?
The first letter of each wing.
And when they started bringing that up, because Dave didn't bring that up. When
Correct.
they started bringing that up, I lifted my hands from because I was watching it live. I was lifted my hands from my desk and put them on my head, and I was like, "Oh no, they have no idea."
And they thought he legitimately was like he named it that.
There was such a huge disconnect, like because like me and you know what Barstool is and what they've been doing
Correct.
forever, so we know that like Dave has no control over things that his employees do. They just do. Right?
Yeah,
For the most part, they just do. And so they thought that, like, this was a coordinated, like, made thing by Barstool, like, corporate. Like, make this podcast. Here's these black guys that are going to be on it. Like, imagine that.
Yeah, well, it's like I forget what the episode of KMS was this week. Something about that fucking Mark Judson for Congress or.
Oh, yeah.
But it's like,
That guy was a lunatic.
do those people think that, like, Portnoy creates the title
They
of
do.
every single.
And this is the same people who I was saying before, the same people that don't listen to Rogan and think that every episode Rogan is in a lab coat telling people why they shouldn't get the vaccine. That's every episode. You know what I'm saying? Like they have such
wild.
they have such a crazy perception of what's going on. So I loved that video. Like I said, 90% of it was boring as fuck, but that and
Yeah, that was funny.
the
I was
text,
like,
oh
I was
no.
like, yeah, it was wild what was going on there.
And those guys are fucking. I mean, they're such. The thing that kills me is I hate people that they're telling people how to feel.
Yeah,
I hate that. That's so
It's just
fucking
like-
stupid. It's like the shit going back to when those girls at Barstool had a reading list for what people should be. Don't tell me what I fucking should be reading.
yeah, especially when it's like you're not reading this shit.
No, fuck you. You're right.
And
Yeah,
it's
fuck
like
you.
it'd be one thing if you're reading this shit, and it's like, okay, well, maybe every weekend, whatever show it was, I think it was Chicks in the Office. Maybe they do read, like these books on how to be anti-racist and things of that. But just to come out and be like, oh, I've actually done some research. Here's 17 books you should be reading about why, which is like you haven't read any of these.
You're looking at me right now. I'm not black.
Correct.
But if I was, I couldn't imagine how to feel. But I've been seeing a lot of people that people of color
Mm-hmm.
that have been like highly offended by some of the things like the defense of these things.
Yeah, it's wild to I don't know. I don't really get into like race shit or anything like that, but it's just I have seen like things where it's one side. It's like, oh well, this is how you should be feeling. And if you don't feel that way, then you're a terrible person.
Telling
It's like
people how to feel is such a degrading.
wild thing.
It's absolutely degrading. It's absolutely degrading.
It's such a you think everyone should, like the guy who was on KMS today, who was like, oh no, people shouldn't have free will. I'm like, that's such a
that
fucking
is so
wild
crazy.
thing to say.
And it was like that's exactly what democracy is, and it's like no, it's not. That is not what it is.
Yeah, I mean it's it's very reminiscent of Anakin and Padme just chilling in the Plans of Naboo, where they're talking about democracy. And it's like, well, then they should be forced to listen. And they should be made to. And she's like, the fuck did you just say?
Right.
Yeah. Fucking
it's
Mark Judson is the fucking
It's a very good point.
fucking whatever. But it's there's also been a lot of talk this past week about endorsements and advertisements on podcasts. And I know Mike was talking about how he doesn't have many advertisements on the Blind Mike project. He actually brought up a good point on the most recent episode where he said that he thinks that he ponders the idea of making the Blind Mike project go behind the paywall.
Totally Patreon,
Totally.
yeah.
And I think like I've said this a million times. I think he really caught his stride in the Why Are You Laughing? The most recent episode was very funny. Which one was it?
The
It was
joke stealing?
No, it was the
Oh yeah, what is the Patreon one? I forget.
oh
what
my
it is.
god, it was the
Oh,
he kills himself.
Freddie Prinze.
Yes. I thought that was very informative, and Mike knows what he's talking about. I could definitely see the Blind Mike project going fully behind the paywall.
And just putting out the one episode a week of
Why Are You Laughing?
for free. Yeah,
Yeah.
I could see that. I mean, because a lot of the stuff that he does with Craig on the proper Blind Mike project episodes
Mm-hmm.
are kind of like behind the scenes and for fans of his.
Yeah.
Not necessarily there's a lot of inside stuff, inside baseball, and
Yep.
putting that behind the paywall, I think would make sense.
Yeah. So I mean, I'd love to see him.
And also really entice more. This is not my thing, but to entice more people to subscribe, because he is putting out one free episode a week, and usually it's the best one of the week.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I don't know. We'll see. I saw that and I thought that was interesting. Sounds like I'll be, making a trip with Mike around the Midwest sometime in August. So that should be fun.
It also sounds like that if they continue doing, Kirk was talking about doing like a country tour.
Oh, that'd be awesome.
It sounds like you might be driving Mike around.
That'd be awesome. Yeah, sure. I'll drive Mike anywhere. I told him that. I'll drive him to the gates of hell. But yeah. What else was I? Oh yeah. I mean the Super Bowl's this week.
Yeah.
That's who are you pulling for? Are you pulling for like the Bengals, like everyone else is in this world?
Yeah. I mean, I have no skin in the game, so it's fine either way. I just don't like. I dislike OBJ tremendously.
Yeah, I do too.
But on the flip side of that, I really like Matt Stafford.
Okay.
And I think that as a former number 1 pick to have such a shitty career with the Lions.
A shitty, like, I know what you mean. Because like he has not had a shitty career.
No.
But like from like a wins-loss perspective and like making playoffs.
They're such a dirtbag organization, and they're just like they are losers. Like
yes.
that's harsh, but that's what the Bucs were before Brady got there. They were losers. Like even
the Lions are like,
well, really, yeah.
Did you know what happened was they traded some quarterback in like 1958. Look up Detroit Lions curse. And he said like, you will never make it to a Super Bowl. And it's fucking stayed true.
The curse of Bobby Lane, now synonymous with football. The Detroit Lions were an NFL power in the 1950s. Their fortune flipped, however, after trading future Hall of Fame quarterback Bobby Lane to the Pittsburgh Steelers.
And then he said, like, you will never make the Super Bowl or something like that.
Wow.
And it stayed true. I mean, yeah, they're just a loser franchise.
That's the thing. Like, there's franchises that just it takes so much to turn on a franchise that everybody knows is like a bad franchise.
Yeah.
You have to have like a tremendous talent. Like
even their tremendous talents are like, I'm in my prime. I think I'll retire.
I mean, they had Matt Stafford is a great quarterback, and they had one of the best one of the most athletic receivers that has ever lived.
You can make an argument.
Calvin Johnson. I mean, if he was on a good team, I mean, he had a good quarterback. That's what helped him. But
if he was on the Patriots, oh my God, can you imagine?
He that would have been like having Randy Moss in his prime. Like if Brady was throwing to him, Calvin Johnson would have been so much better. But they're just a loser franchise. That's harsh to say.
Look at Barry Sanders. I mean,
retired
maybe
early.
the greatest running back of all time,
Right.
and he was like, "Yeah, I'll hang it up." I just
both
had
of them
1,600 yard season or something like that.
So yeah, I dislike OBJ, but I really like Matt Stafford, so I'd like to see him do well. I hate that the Rams moved to LA, back to LA.
That's so weird.
It really kind of fucked the fans in St. Louis.
Yeah, and it was just like, I don't think LA needs a franchise, let alone two.
It's not a football town. They're
It's
trying
not a
to make it
sport
a
town.
They're trying to
It's
make
like it's a Lakers town when they're good.
Yeah, well, they're
but
trying. Like the Dodgers have had good success recently, and they're trying to turn it around. But I don't know if football is a sport for those people. There's so many transplants.
No, it's not. And
yeah, so I pull for the Bengals probably overall.
Yeah, I mean, I just like to see a decent football game. I'd like to see the Bengals come out. I think Joe Burrow's got, he's got swag. I think he's like everything that people wanted Baker Mayfield to be.
Yeah.
Like Joe Burrow is that.
Yeah, you're probably right.
So, I mean, I'd like to see a second-year quarter. I mean, when was the last time we saw a second-year quarterback win it? Was it? Did Wilson win it in a second year? No, that was his third year.
No.
Was it Big Ben?
Did Mahomes?
No. He got because his first year he was on the bench. His second year, he was told no in the AFC Championship game by Thomas Edward Brady Jr.
Has a second-year quarterback ever won the Super Bowl?
It was I know Big Ben did in 2005.
Yeah, Russell Wilson.
It was Russell Wilson as well?
Russell Wilson and Roethlisberger. Dan Marino and Colin Kaepernick both started in their second year but lost.
Damn. Well.
Oh, well, and Kurt Warner technically won a Super Bowl the second year of his NFL in 1999, but that was after he was drafted in 94. But cut from two
and
teams.
he also played in NFL Europe and all that stuff.
Yeah.
Praise God and everything like that.
I'm rooting for Joe Burrow in the Bengals. But I'd be happy to see. I just hate like the picture in my mind I have is the OBJ just being a intolerable asshole about winning the fucking Super Bowl when he was on the team for a cup of coffee.
Yeah, and I mean, like, everything about it. Like, remember when LSU won the championship a couple of years ago, and like he was handing out like $100 bills on the field? It's like, dude, what are you doing that for?
I hate
it's like,
him.
we get it. Like, you're rich
He's
and you're congratulating the players.
Such an insufferable asshole.
I believe he was like banned from LSU for that.
Yeah,
LSU actually legitimately got like punished for that.
Yeah, I hate him so much, so I curse the team because I don't want him to win.
Did you know that Odell Beckham Sr. is mentioned in the book Friday Night Lights?
No.
He is.
Oh.
Yeah, learn something new every day. He's because like during that time he was one of the players that was being covered. It wasn't the Permian team. It was another team that they were playing, and it was Odell Beckham. It was just so that's where.
Very cool. He was drafted the same year as Mike Evans.
Oh, Mike Evans is such a better player.
And I think that Mike Evans. People will argue that Odell Beckham is a better talent, but I think that Mike Evans has a better head on his shoulders. He's been more consistent. Odell
Beckham maybe has like more like of a physical gift.
Yeah.
And like he can catch anything. Like I fucking hate that stupid catch that always gets brought up in a game they lost.
It's so dumb.
But it's like it is like when he's going, it's like, holy shit, this guy's great. And then you'll just see him and he'll just be pouting or crying.
Yeah, and like that's the other thing too, like him leaving the Browns this year and going to the Rams. He's like, oh, we'll see. Like it wasn't my fault. Like I'm doing fine here. It was dude. You're going to a team that is the trajectory of the Rams was right to the Super Bowl. Obviously, you're happy that you're there. If next year, like wherever the fuck you go, it's a bad team, you're going to be the same insufferable asshole again.
Yep. Yeah.
Don't fucking give me that.
Yeah.
I mean, it's fucking asshole. Yeah, so I root for the Bengals.
Yeah, but this might be the last week in a while. You can say defending my team's the defending Super Bowl champions.
Thank you. Justin got me. I'm gonna go get it actually.
Oh sure, I got him. I was walking around the mall today, and I went to like this sports memorabilia store, and I saw this like Gronk and Brady picture frame thing that's the Super Bowl champion.
It's funny. This is my favorite picture from that, like the celebration of that Super Bowl.
Yep.
It's like this one, and there's another one of. It's like Godwin running around the field. But
yep.
This is the fucking treasure right
there. Yeah. No, I got it because I mean, obviously those are my guys on there. You know, they were my guys for 10 years. I'm glad to see them do that thing. And I'm appreciative of everything Matt does here at Vaulted Podcast. Everyone should fucking please check out Vaulted Podcast. Just hit up Matt from RI if you want to start your own podcast or something.
Yes.
I know he does music videos and everything like that as well. So
yeah, we do a lot of shit here. I'm trying to we've got a little momentum. I'm just trying to if you want to do a show, anything, podcast, video show, you want to come here and stream video games, you want to come here and do like an audio book, we can do all that, and we can do video shit. I'm talking with someone right now. He, I won't say his name, but he's thinking about doing a road trip podcast over the summer. Mm-hmm. And he's going to, essentially he's using me as an editor, and he's going to film all the stuff while he's out. So that kind of shit we can do too. I can work out of the studio, in the studio, however you want to do it.
Nice. When you offered him your services, did he just proceed to shit all over you?
No.
Make it seem like you were like this piece of shit peasant, and he's on top of the world?
No, I
Oh, that's weird. Sometimes when people offer their skills in production, sometimes people decide to go a weird route.
Oh, is that what happened with you?
No, remember the whole
I'm
out of theater near me thing. I was like,
oh right, yeah.
What a fun take.
No, he did not shit on me.
But,
I offered us, and we are mutually helping each other out.
Yeah, no, but no, please hit up Vaulted Podcast. This place sounds professional. It's a nice little setup they got going. Like you can also stream, like you said, video games or anything here. So please hit up at Matt from RI on Twitter. And we'll see how everything's going. I hate to talk about the weather because I feel like it's such like a fallback thing, but like my driveway is just completely frozen over right now.
Yeah, same with mine.
It's not ideal.
Why do we live here?
It's not. I think that all the fucking time.
Why do we live here?
I love the spring. Like, the first of all, it's also going to be like 60 degrees in like 2 days, which is like wild to me.
Yeah.
It's going to be like 60 degrees, which is like, okay, what the fuck? Which probably isn't great. But, like, the spring is so nice. The summer can get unbearable. I love the fall. The fall is my favorite. Like, yeah. I would miss the fall if I moved to, like, Arizona or California or something like that. But, like, times like this where it's just raining and it's like icy and fuck this.
If we could just, I don't even care that it's cold. If we could just not get snow and wet and gross and like get it out of here. Like I don't want any of that.
Oh, the worst is like when you step in a puddle and now your socks are wet, and your
Oh.
feet are wet, and you can't do anything
Nah, I fucking hate it, man.
about it. Oh, it's terrible.
hate it.
It's terrible.
Funny thing about the weather, you talking about like saying it's a fallback thing. I used to be a barista at Starbucks.
Okay.
At inside of a Stop and Shop, so it wasn't even like a real
Okay.
Starbucks.
Okay.
But starting to work at Starbucks, they put you through this like course. Essentially, you have to watch videos every day for your first week.
Yep. Is it like don't kick out homeless people? Didn't they have a course on that? What was that? Were you
No,
working
that
there
was
at that
one
time?
of ours. No.
Remember they had a whole like thing where like they kicked out a homeless person,
Oh no, I don't remember that.
or they had a bunch of like anti-racist training where I remember like the
maybe.
whole thing where they like shut down like every single store in the country to like for training and things like that, because like there was something like Aziz or something ordered
Oh,
their
I don't
coffee,
know.
and it was a Middle Eastern gentleman, and someone pronounced it ISIS, and
I don't remember that, and I wasn't working during that time when I was at Starbucks. But they give you training videos, and they tell you need to make conversation with the guests.
okay.
They tell you to make outside of what they're ordering. They tell you to make some kind of conversation, but they tell you that you cannot talk about the weather.
Can you talk about abortion?
I mean, I guess if you want to be so bold as to talk about abortion,
Can you be like,
I assume you
oh,
could.
what do you think the Supreme Court's going to do? Should women have the right to choose?
It's like, yeah, say that, but don't you dare say looks like it's gonna rain outside.
Okay.
Don't you fucking dare.
That's funny. That's funny.
hot out there. No, stop. And like they would have the other girl that worked with me go as pretend to be a customer, and my manager. I wanted to fucking grab this lady
Jesus.
and stick her in the walk-in freezer. I hated the job. I applied because it was right next to my college, the Stop and Shop that it was in. And the guy at Stop and Shop asked me, "What's your experience?" And at the time, I was either I had worked as a lifeguard, and I had worked at Dunkin' Donuts. So what was I gonna say? I was a lifeguard. Like, is that gonna help me? No, just on a pool at Stop and Shop. So I was like, I worked at Dunkin' Donuts. It's the only like actual retail I
Yep.
had. And he's like, "Oh, great, we have a coffee shop in here." I was like, "Fuck, I don't want to sling coffees. I'd rather just stock the shelves." And then when the Starbucks closed, they put me into the bake shop, and I made cakes, which was great.
Oh, that seems like
That
fun.
was a great job.
That seems
Yeah.
like fun.
Decorating
Whenever I
cakes
pick up a cake from like Market Basket or something like that, it's like, ooh, this seems like such a fun job. I always try to tip the person, but they're always like, no.
Yeah.
Market Basket's the best grocery store, by the way, too.
I do like Market Basket a lot. Yeah. There's one pretty close to me, actually. There's one.
In Attleboro.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, the one's dope. What was I gonna say? Something about Starbucks. Something about
Abortion, weather.
abortion. Oh yeah. So speaking of should women have the right to choose, a couple weeks ago when I was doing my own Omegle Adventures, I don't know if you caught this. I don't know if I brought this up on this episode, but it was like I put like politics as one of my thing, and so like as a joke question, obviously women should have the right to vote. And I was asking everyone, I was like, women, should they have the right to vote? And I asked this girl, I go, women, should they have the right to vote? And she goes, well, I'm from Saudi Arabia, so we don't have the right to vote. And it fucking brought me down. Like, you ever get like grounded and you're like, you thinking you're being this like funny, like, should women have the right to vote? Look at me, I'm edgy, huh?
Yeah,
And then because I expect people to be like, yes. And then I'd be like, yeah, of course. Like, I don't know, let's talk politics.
Well, it's like one of those
But it
things.
was such a thing where it was like, fuck, man, there are some fucked up places in this country. And then I forget the clip, but she starts talking about like how she's like, no, it's okay, we don't need the right to vote. And I was like, yes, you do. I was like, yes, you do, sweetie. I'm so sorry.
That's like sitting at your kitchen table when you're a kid, and like your mom's like, don't play with your food. There are kids starving in Africa, and you're like, oh, there's kids starving in Africa, and then behind you there's a kid starving.
Yeah,
on Omegle, and the kid's like, well, yeah, I am. I actually am.
And you're like,
Here
oh,
I am.
you're
I'm
a person,
starving,
and they're like, it's okay that we're starving, and you're like, no, it's not.
No,
like
it's
I
not.
am so fat. Please, like,
Yeah.
here I am. I'm making jokes about women's suffrage, which the United States figured out in like 1916
In
or
a lot of
13
ways, they're
or
still
whatever.
figuring out.
Yeah, but Saudi Arabia, I think they have it figured out, and it's not the way you would think that it should go.
Yeah, right.
But the last thing I want to bring up is, have you ever heard of the Bud Bowl before?
No, it sounds like something to do with weed.
Weed 420. No, it unfortunately it does not. So it used to be a commercial during the Super Bowl. If you could pull it up on YouTube, just type in Bud Bowl, and it was a commercial that Bud Light and Budweiser would put on, and it would be bottles of beer would be in their own little game, and they would be like facing each other, and there would be a score of it. It would be different commercials throughout the game. So like the first commercial would be the first quarter, second quarter. Here we go. And I want them to bring this back. I need them to bring this back.
Football fans, get ready for the battle of the century. As unbeaten Budweiser takes on undefeated Bud Light. It's Bud versus Bud Light in Bud Bowl 1. Pick up your official scorecard wherever you see this display.
Hey, Bud, super idea. You see the neck on that guy?
Use it to follow the action and you could win big. So get ready.
So this was like a promotion thing they had.
Second Bud Bowl 1. This time, it's for real.
And so you think like that's it? Nope.
We're back for the kickoff of Bud Bowl 1. Bud is
So this was during the Super Bowl.
Let's kick some butt.
Oh, so this is the game you're supposed to keep track of?
Correct.
takes it at the 18. Hands off to Bud. He's at the 25, 30. Tearaway label. He's looking for daylight. Make that Bud Light. Oh, we've got a real
How many Bud fucking puns do you think they have?
A lot.
And the cans are going wild.
Stay tuned. We'll be back.
They had like 4 of these. And I think like at one point,
Here comes the play.
I love this, though.
it's incredible.
Third and short.
You could like place bets
It's
on
like
it.
it's a storyline you have to follow.
Yes.
Throughout the game.
He pitches it back to Bud. A flea flicker. He's open.
First of all, that also wasn't a touchdown.
No, right. It's Mackenzie.
And the end of the first quarter with the score. Bud Light 7, Budweiser 3. We'll be back.
Is this not the greatest fucking
This
thing?
is amazing. Yeah, this is amazing.
We're back. Seconds left.
Oh,
in the
this
half.
Bud's for you is still
Budweiser
a
ball on the
thing
Bud
back
Light
then.
6. Looks like 4th and inches. And they'll bring on the field goal unit. Hold on. They're bringing in. Look out. Oh, no. It's the free.
Bring back the 40 ounce.
Oh, it's okay. So this is so they call him the freezer. It's the fridge.
Yeah.
Bud Light 7. We'll be back.
This is tremendous.
Yeah, my parents showed me this years ago.
We're back.
My dad showed me this.
Do they do this only 1 year, or is this
No,
something
it was
every-
multiple years because there was like Bud Bowl 2, 3, 4. They need to bring this back. Is what
Yeah,
I'm
they
saying.
really do. What are they doing? They really need to bring it back.
Tipped again. Intercepted. What a great
like
Let's see that again.
Watch how the free safety fakes a blitz. Says oh no, turns around, goes back, they screen out the linebacker.
I love this.
is this not like the greatest thing you've ever seen?
If you're listening to the audio version of this podcast, please either search this video, the Bud Bowl,
Yes.
or watch the video version of this podcast. This is tremendous.
The Bud Bowl. This is what it's all about.
Dun, dun.
Tied at 24.
It all rests on
Oh.
pair's shoulders. Budsky, it's all yours.
Budsky,
Says kickers don't
His
have
last
their
name's
money.
Ski because all the.
Janikowski.
The kick is up.
Fuck. It's
Double
good.
doink, but in.
And a storybook finish.
That is tremendous.
Is that not the greatest thing?
Oh, I love that. I love that. That is so great.
There was 2, 3. There was a bunch of them. Anyway, that's the greatest Super Bowl commercial. If you could think of off the top of your head.
I mean, that one's up there now for me. I always liked the remember the year where Miller Lite was hyping up. They took a 1 second ad out for the Super Bowl.
No.
It was like probably 2012. Let me look it up. It was a 1 second ad, and it was the dude just standing next to a case on a hand truck, and he just goes, "It's Miller time." That was it. That was the commercial. Do
Okay.
you remember that?
No, I don't remember that. There's also another Super Bowl commercial that was banned. Actually, that'll have you look up in 1 second.
This is it right here. The 1 second there was multiple, but this is the one that I was thinking of. So I remember they were like teasing this for weeks.
Oh, they're
leading up
teasing
to the Super
a
Bowl.
big Super Bowl commercial?
Yeah, they were like, we got only have they were teasing that there was a 1 second ad.
Okay.
So here it is.
I like that. I like that. If you can, my favorite non-aired Super Bowl ad is probably look up Pornhub Super Bowl ad. It's not. Just watch this. It is.
How long ago was this from?
Oh, this must have been 2013.
The
14?
rejected G-rated Super Bowl
Correct.
ad? That one. Second.
So I think this would have been the funniest thing if they Pornhub paid they had the money available, and I think it was NBC said no. So we'll see what it is.
I mean,
I just think
so like them saying no to that ad is just them saying no, we don't want Pornhub to advertise.
correct.
Us.
There's nothing Pornhub can do to advertise. I think that because for those of you, once again audio, it's just this elderly couple sitting on a park bench. The woman like puts her hand on her husband's shoulder. The camera is panning out, and then it just says Pornhub.
Yeah,
It's just like I think Pornhub knew like there's no chance like there's ever going to be an advertisement
that
for Pornhub.
sucks.
But it's but I don't know. I found that hilarious to see, because they would always. Do you remember like the GoDaddy commercials? Where it'd be like Danica Patrick, and it would be like they'd heavily be hinting that she's doing porn, but it's not. If she would like just be wearing some like GoDaddy fucking outfit.
Do you remember the GoDaddy commercial where she had the muscle suit on?
Yes.
Okay, so that was a Super Bowl ad. In 2011, I started a blog with a friend, Ryan. It was The Average Nobodies.
Yep.
It ended up turning into our podcast.
Yep.
We did a blog post about that commercial
Okay.
and how Danica Patrick looked in the muscle suit, how we thought she was still attractive.
Yep.
And Danica Patrick sued our blog.
Really?
Yes.
Jesus Christ.
Yeah. She sent us a cease and desist letter and told us to take down the picture because we don't. Well, I mean, she didn't personally. It was the
Obviously,
lawyer, the
obviously.
GoDaddy
Yeah.
lawyers. But essentially, we were like, Danica Patrick's fucking sending us a cease. We had to pay $900.
Oh, that sucks.
Yeah, for the picture. We had to pay for the picture.
That's fucking wild.
Yeah. Or they were going to shut us down. So we hate Danica Patrick now.
Yeah. Fuck Danica Patrick, dude.
Even though it's really not
Fuck
her fault.
GoDaddy too, and then you find out there's some fucking domain name website, and you're like,
Yeah.
what is this?
Yeah.
But
Well,
anyway,
it's funny. We were actually hosting our website on their website too.
That's
we were paying them to.
hilarious.
Yeah. So.
That's hilarious. But anyway, if anyone has any funny Super Bowl ads they want to show, or send it our way. Well, I'll do something. I'll do something with it. I'll probably just watch it and just chuckle to myself.
Cool.
But yeah,
tweet at us your favorite Super Bowl ads.
Oh, let me see if there's any funny reviews.
Oh yeah, good.
Because I know I might have read some last week, but you know that episode is in the. Let me look up this beautiful picture of myself. Justin Show. Justin Show is a dime piece. Justin is a dime piece. Team Justin Show is greater than at a theater near me. Ooh. This one is delightful. Omega Adventures are on point. Flight log. Chris Klemmer used his massive inheritance to buy his way into Epstein's flight log. What happened?
If Chris does listen to the show, I'm a huge fan of Concessions Month because I'm a fucking fat kid at heart and I love candy.
Yeah, I see you commenting on.
I can't help it because I fucking have, but I haven't listened to an episode in a few weeks, so I do admit that.
Yeah, shout out Danica Patrick. Yeah, big fan of you. I love all the legal actions you've taken throughout the years. You're my favorite. She didn't even drive NASCAR. What did she drive?
She did drive NASCAR.
Oh, she did. Yeah, shout out. You were my favorite NASCAR. My favorite NASCAR.
Well, actually, did she? Yeah, she did. She got up past the what's the league that's right below
F1?
No. Well, she came from F1. What's like the thing that like Travis Pastrana was driving in for a while?
I have no idea who that is.
I don't know. Travis Pastrana, the motorcycle guy.
Travis Pastrami? I don't know. I don't know who that is.
I don't know. Anyway, whatever the lower circuit is of the NASCAR.
All I know is that she got all of her advertisements because she was a really good driver. That's why she got 100% of her advertisements.
Yeah,
had nothing to do with her physical appearance.
I don't think she ever won a race.
I don't think she did either. I think she came in second once, and it was a big deal. But it was very powerful, very brave of her. So I think that about does it for this week's episode. This was fun. This was a good one.
Yeah.
Yeah, check out Vaulted Podcast. Make sure to subscribe on YouTube. You know, do all that jazz. You're one of the 2,000 people who listen to every episode, apparently. I think that about does it. I will talk to you all later. Bye.